Railsea by China Miéville. Read by Tom Lawrence. To Indigo. Part 1. Great Southern Moldywarpe. Telpa ferox rex. Prologue. This is the story of a blood-stained boy. There he stands, swaying as utterly as any wind-blown sapling. He is quite red. If only that were paint. Around each of his feet the red puddles. His clothes, whatever colour they were once, are now a thickening scarlet. His hair is stiff and drenched. Only his eyes stand out. The white of each almost glows against the gore. Light bulbs in a dark room. He stares with great fervour at nothing. The situation is not as macabre as it sounds. The boy isn't the only bloody person there. He's surrounded by others as red and sodden as he, and they are cheerfully singing. The boy is lost. Nothing has been solved. He thought it might be. He had hoped that this moment might bring clarity. Yet his head is still full of nothing, or he knows not what. We're here too soon. Of course we can start anywhere. That's the beauty of the tangle. That's its very point. But where we do and don't begin has its ramifications, and this, right now, is not best chosen. Into reverse. Let this engine go back, just to before the boy was blooded. There to pause and go forward again to see how we got here, to red, to music, to chaos, to a big question mark in a young man's head. Chapter 1. A meat island. No, back a bit. A looming carcass. Bit more. Here. Weeks out, back when it was colder. The last several days spent fruitlessly pootling through rock passes and in the blue shadows of ice cliffs. Late afternoon under a flinty sky. The boy, not yet blood-stained, was watching penguins. He stared at little rock islands furred in huddled birds, plumping their oily feathers and shuffling together for comfort and warmth. He had been giving them his attention for hours. When at last there came a sound from the speakers above, it made him start. It was the alarm for which he and the rest of the crew of the Meddies had been waiting. A crackling blare. Then from the intercom came the exclamation, "There she blows!" An instant frantic readiness. Mops were abandoned, spanners dropped, letters half-written and carvings half-whittled were thrust into pockets. Never mind their wet ink, their sawdusty unfinishedness. To windows, to guardrails. Everyone leaned into the whipping air. The crew squinted into the frigid wind, stared past big slate teeth. They swayed with the Meddy's motion. Birds gusted nearby in hope. But no one was throwing scraps now. Way off, where perspective made the line of old rails meet, soil seethed. Rocks jostled. The ground violently rearranged. From beneath came a dust-muffled howl. Amid strange landforms and stubs of antique plastic, black earth coned into a sudden hill, and up something clawed. Such a great and dark beast. Soaring from its burrow in a clod cloud and explosion it came. A monster. It roared, it soared into the air. It hung a crazy moment at the apex of its leap, as if surveying, as if to draw attention to its very size. Crashed at last back down through the topsoil and disappeared into the below. The moldywarpe had breached. Of all the gapers on the Meddies, none gaped harder than Sham. Sham Yes, Soorap. Big, lumpy young man. Thick-set, not always unclumsy, his brown hair kept short and out of trouble. Gripping a porthole, penguins forgotten, face like a light hungry
Sample complete. Ready to continue?